Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Mick Minard, and I'm here representing Rutgers University, the State University of New Jersey. Thanks to the Baha'i International Community and the World Farmers Organization for sponsoring the event. So we have about 1.5 hours together this afternoon, so I wrote down most of my remarks so that we can try to keep my bit short and all of our part a little bit longer. I hope to facilitate a fruitful conversation with all of you today about the role of women in agriculture, specifically the gender dimensions of the agricultural value chain, and new directions in development assistance and agricultural investments to support women farmers around the world, from production to processing to marketing, along with many other issues and ideas that are of interest to all of us. Before we begin, I've been asked to take a little bit of your time, maybe 15 minutes or so, to share with you the story of a new project in Turkey that's committed to closing the gap between men and women in agriculture. Can you change the slide? The project is called Suzanne's Project, and its design is based on Annie's Project, which I know one of you are familiar with here in this room. Annie's Project is a US-based, nationally recognized risk management training program for women farmers that aims to, quote, strengthen women's roles in the modern farm enterprise. Annie's began in the Midwest in 2009, so it's only about 3 years old, and yet they've had an incredible impact on the lives of rural women in North America. Founded by a woman named Ruth Hambleton to empower women farmers through education, through mentoring and networks, and to recognize them as major contributors to the success of a family farm operation like her mother was. So she named the project after her. Now Annie's Project is in 31 states throughout the country, and it's still growing. A year ago, Annie's Project expanded to the state of New Jersey with the leadership of Rutgers University, and it's now in its second year. Led by my colleague, Dr. Robin Brumfield, who's a farm management specialist, and many others Rutgers Cooperative Extension educators. Over 130 women have been trained to date, and 40% of the women participants have completed business plans, which is one of the prime definitions of success for this particular program. Last September, inspired by the early success of the effort in New Jersey, Dr. Robin Brumfield, with the support of Rutgers, partnered with Dr. Borhan Özkan, who's an agricultural economist at Akdeniz University in Turkey, and the Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Livestock for the province of Antalya, and myself, to design and deliver a pilot project modeled after Annie's Project that would, again, quote, this is our mission, recognize and develop the technical and managerial capacities of Turkish women farmers through specialized training and enterprise skills and production methods, while supporting the region's socio-economic advancement toward gender equality and sustainable agricultural development. So Suzanne's Project was born, and even though women account for about 45% of the agricultural workforce in Turkey, they face a variety of challenges, and most of them, if not all of them, would be familiar to all of you in this room. In sum, there are extremely limited opportunities to benefit from agriculture as women. With the least access to training and information, least control over assets, least access to credit and inputs, they're not able to capture much of the gains of trade from their own production. And in many cases, women face legal or traditional barriers to even owning assets like land or farm equipment. And women we interviewed shared similar goals, beginning with control over their economic activities and increasing their incomes and ownership of assets. The initial objectives of the pilot planning process was fully participatory, and I think that really added to the strength of our project. An examination of the socioeconomic characteristics of the small-scale farmers who wanted to participate in the pilot helped us finish an entire survey of women farmers throughout Antalya province. An understanding of the system of farming they practice, a determination of their level of interest in and adoption of improved production technologies, business planning and management strategies, and new tools for disseminating knowledge and best practices, all things that I hope that we're going to discuss here today. We also began to articulate the constraints and the opportunities for achieving sustainable agriculture, specifically in this province in Turkey, and the implications of these constraints and opportunities for scaling the project and for improving local extension services. The project was in partnership with the extension services through the university. The women farmers' priority needs, their interests, their current capacities were all documented and informed the final curriculum as well as the pilot locations. Since we started in September, we've had 2 pilots, which is a 28-hour course. One was in Kumlaca, and actually one is still in process right now in El Mali. And there's approximately 60 participants so far, all small-scale citrus and greenhouse producers. The curriculum provides specialized training in business and risk management, computer literacy, alternative production systems, soil productivity and plant nutrition, marketing, and many other things. So the women can pursue opportunities to start up new ventures, upgrade or improve existing businesses, and expand their customer base or even enter new markets. I'd like to offer several lessons from both Annie's project and Suzanne's project for designing interventions that support women farmers. Stakeholder engagement. The important role of government in Turkey for providing legitimacy and visibility to the issues of women as producers and as business leaders. And involving men became an essential element of the design, which you'll see in the visual narrative that I'll share with you in just a second. Number 2, one size does not fit all. The environmental and social context is dynamic but locally specific. Knowledge of these dynamics should inform how to deliver relevant capacity building interventions, given the complexities of agriculture, local markets, and the cultural norms for women in the society. Number 3, for donors and other partners, determining the priority needs of women farmers starts with asking them first to express their needs in a public forum, which is another thing that you'll see in the narrative, not from donor-beneficiary perspective, i.e. the real focus was on human rights, the gender empowerment, and problem solving. By comparing these explicit needs with an analysis of their existing assets, what can they leverage without relying on external assistance? Then identifying market opportunities for women in the value chain becomes a process of finding the right lever. Contract negotiations, packaging, price points, ways of direct marketing, all of them will increase their capacity to create social impact, enduring social value from their work. So finally, the core of my work, which is communicating social value creation using a visual narrative platform. So being involved in the project design and then documenting the entire experience photographically, all still photography, and then using a technique called most significant change, or MSC, which is really a way of getting the stories from the women directly after the pilot to understand the impact that it had on their lives. It wasn't based on a whole bunch of metrics and this strict definition of success. It was actually going to the women's farms and meeting with them and asking them the same pointed 4 questions, which you'll see, and getting their feedback about how they were changed as a result of being a participant in the pilot. Using photography as a way to report on the needs assessment, which is the baseline and the midline data, and then plus an asset-based approach, plus opportunities identification, so again the market value and the social value. In this way, we can link visual storytelling to real-time participatory monitoring and evaluation, so results-based management and measuring impact. Now in this case, when I say measuring impact, I'm really specifically saying social impact, because again, it's too early to know if this project will be successful. We're only on our 2nd pilot, as I said, and we will absolutely continue to see how our program is impacting the lives of these women. This approach that I've used in Turkey sees results as defined and articulated through the communications platform that has been put in place from the very start of the project, and thus storytelling about the change in women farmers' perceptions and confidence in their own skills became a critical piece of the design and monitoring process, as opposed to seeing results as being defined by an external or a donor entity, measured only by the end of the pilot program. So I'm going to go through this, and I'm actually not going to talk through it. I want you to experience a visual narrative the way that it's sort of meant to be processed individually. So it's basically a documentary of the women participants and their feelings about what it was like to participate in the pilot. With the 56th session of the Commission on the Status of Women's Priority theme, which I'm sure you've all heard a lot since you've been here, stated as the empowerment of rural women and their role in poverty and hunger eradication, development, and current challenges. By exploring new possibilities in visual communications, we have an opportunity to use media and technology like never before to make visible our collective intentions to realize the whole potential of 1.1 billion women farmers worldwide, job creators, land stewards, agri-entrepreneurs, people worth emulating because of their skills, their resilience, their courage, their work ethic, and their creativity. Thanks so much for listening.